Hello, Massimo.
Hello, Andrea. Good afternoon.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for attending this new GMI webinar. Let's wait another few seconds. People are still connecting, and we'll go on. The topic today is HART, and it's the second time we are having this kind of webinar on this topic. And let's see what will go on. It's really, it's a topic for us, matter, because we are always talking about HART in our systems. Few information: don't use a chat box, just use your Q&A button, and you can make your question live, and we try to answer live as well. If it maybe is maybe too technical or too complicated or too maybe not able to answer, can be. we'll answer later by email. Okay, so I don't see any other people connected, so we can go on.
Yes, Andrea, I think we can go with our webinar.
Okay, so I think you can see the screen. So GMI speaker today, myself, Andrea Spalora, I'm a Global Account Manager in GMI. I'm working since 2015. I was responsible for Europe, and now I'm responsible for major account, and that's my part. And Massimo Pagani is with me today. He is our expert, product manager, and also responsible for customer support. So he's the right person for others any technical question you may have, especially about the HART today. So how to manage, how to read it, how to connect the devices, what is important, and so on. Massimo and I are functional safety engineer. Company, few information, because we have to do it, sorry, only 4 slides, but maybe you don't know about our company, but there is the company design and engineer products related to intrinsically safe application and sell for major critical applications such as oil and gas, petrochemical, pharmaceutical, fertilizer, mining, food. We have more 30 experience. We produce completely in our facility in Milan, but also we are present all over the world in 5 continents. Few words about our production. We have complete traceability for incoming components and outgoing products. Also full testing, 100% of our units are tested. We are also REACH compliant, also SC3 certification for the design of the product. Not only the product, but also the design is certified. The product range here, so intrinsically safe barriers, isolators, safety relays, standard isolators, safety power supplies, multiplexer, termination board for main PCS and PLCs, HART Multiplexer today, surge protection indicator, and also last bullet is regarding our training, webinars, and related services for functional safety and EX matters. About our organization in the world, 10 offices, different distributors, people, courses, and number installations. And the last for today for the company is the market share. So we have customers with system vendors, EPC, OEMs, and the users. So now I'm leaving Massimo to go into the scope of today. So the HART. What is HART? Please go ahead, Massimo.
Okay, thank you, Andrea, and hello to everybody also from my side. Well, what is HART and why is widely used in the process industry? Developed in the mid of 1980s by Rosemont, HART is an intelligent technology that supports the simultaneous transmission of analog and digital signals on the same pair of wires. HART is a protocol based on the question and answer mechanism, designed to be compatible with traditional 4 to 20 milliamp analog channels. communication start from the master to the slave. There can be up to 2 masters connected on each HART loop, while the slave are typically field devices such as a sensor, actuators, and controllers that answer questions. The application that exploit this technology allow remote interrogation of process variables, cyclical access to data, calibration, access to operating parameters, and instrument diagnosis. Device with R-type communication superimpose an electrical signal on the analog signal, with which they can be monitored and programmed depending on the manufacturer and the interface system. The HART protocol, although defined as open, does not allow complete communication of all available parameters with any instrument, but requires the presence of the drivers for the device in question. But what are the advantages that HART brings to the world of industrial process? HART is a secure, robust, and reliable communication standard. Through a simple configuration, it's possible to obtain and collect a wide range of new process data in order to increase the remote diagnostic capabilities of the system and monitoring of the single device, together with the reliability of the signal and the absence of interferences. Not in all cases, the traditional HART devices fully exploit their potential, but in the new generation ones, access to data is easier. This makes it possible to simplify the remote configuration, commissioning, and the interrogation of the devices. In order to integrate the measurements provided by HART devices into a control system, it's possible to implement a point-to-point connection of the 420 milliamp signal, or a connection via remote I/O modules or HART Multiplexer. The HART protocol represents an intermediate step in the transition from analog to digital communication, and the HART Multiplexer is the best solution for gathering all HART data into a single point software. GMI HART Multiplexer conveys all HART information of devices connected and transmit data to a PC where an HART management software is installed. The communication takes place through an RS-485 serial communication. This simple connection is made through a dedicated termination board where also the multiplexer is installed. GM International is particularly open to HART communication, starting with the multiplexer 5700, an HART seal-free interface system that reduces the number of modules required for the application, thanks to the management of up to 256 channels per card, with communication speed up to 1,000 and 1,500 and 2,000 bits per second. The HART protocol is also fully supported by custom I/O termination card, by D5000 series barrier, and by D6000 isolators. The use of an HART multiplexer offers different advantages, and it's necessary when the PLC DCS don't integrate the HART MUX. The HART multiplexer can be integrated in an existing system where transmitters, module are transparent, are connected. it supports the management of different standards from different manufacturers, also mixed, and through the board interfaces, the signals are collected and transmitted to a PC to be supervised. Thousands of signals can be managed in a single network, allowing a real-time communication of all connected equipment. While the sensor constantly transmits its analog measurement, the control unit can read and modify the local sensor setting. For example, the measuring range via HART overlapping the 420 milliamp signal and without interfering with it. The HART Multiplexer is a device that is used to connect HART field device with two asset management systems. HART Multiplexer enables online communication between the operating and maintenance console and HART field devices using the OpenHART protocol. The HART Multiplexer acts as a gateway, routing communication between maintenance PC workstation and HART field devices. It carries each HART device, retrieves the information and stores it in an internal database. This information is then available for the device management tool, for example, Pactware. Being a single loop solution, the HART loop converter allows access to all process variables provided by a field device and transfers them to a conventional 420 milliampere loop. This makes it possible to use the hidden measurement data detected by many field devices and to transfer it to conventional DCS distributed control system. Well, Andrea, it's your turn to explain the GMI HART solution.
Thank you, Massimo. Let's see what we can offer as a GMI is this possible new. It's a very old, as you understand, HART is a very old technology, but it's still used in the market because there are a lot of transmitters, a lot of devices that are using the superimpose HART protocol on the 420 milliampere signal. Our solutions is new because it reduces the number of components, the total components, so you can use a single multiplexer for 256 channels, and you can extend the number of multiplexing in the network up to 63, so the maximum number of channels is more than 16,000. So use wiring, use spare parts, it's a really non-intrusive connection to the process signal. Today I've got a message from the customer say, hi, what happens if your HART multiplexer fails? What happens to the loops, the signal loop? Say, this is not interfering, it's just getting the HART information from the loop, but it's not interfering. So in case of fault, this will be, the loop will remain safe, okay? And our solution is composed by different system or termination boards, as we call it, as the market call it. So basically, if you're using isolators, standard isolators, or N.I.S, non-I.S, and maybe you want to connect to the HART this information, those boards, I can highlight this part, have this kind of connector, the black connector here, that are suitable for to be connected with this connector on the HART board. So all the data will be retrieved and managed by the HART multiplexer. In case you don't use any isolators for your system, you can use this kind of board where the input output are connected, the loop here, and here the HART multiplexer will be installed. So they can be composed in different way, depending what you are using as a, if you're using IS solutions or non-IS solution. More example here. So you have different transmitters. In this case, we made example up to 256 transmitters. In this case, are temperature transmitter, are transparent. The data are, in this case, are IS solutions. You have the different board. I wanna highlight it here. So you have different board where the isolators are connected, and each board is connected to the board where the HART Multiplexer is installed. So you can multiply for different applications. You see that they also you multiply the board because there are only 4 HART connectors for each board. But for the extension, you see that there is no HART Multiplexer. HART MUX is here. It's just on the first one. So one is able to communicate up to 256 channels and connected to the HART management systems over an RS-485 cable Modbus RTU. This is addressable, so you can have address 1 up to address 63. So you can have a complex architecture for multiple channels where you have a different HART multiplexer connected to the HART management system. Another application is this one, where you don't have isolator, but you connect straight the input or the output from the safety PLC or the DCS, which is driving and reading the signal. So here you just connect input and output on the green connectors on the first board where there is a HART multiplexer, and also on the other where there is no need for HART multiplexer, but because this is a collected from the first one on the first board. Also here we have up to 256 modules and only one multiplexer. The network can be extended like the previous one. The solution can be mixed. So this third slide is where you have a mix of the first and the second one. So it doesn't matter because the solution is the same. And here we can show that we can have all possibility where you have the isolators. First, you don't have isolator, you have just the modules, or you have the isolators, IS, non-IS in a DIN rail, second case and third case, or you have IS or non-IS isolators in determination boards, fourth case and fifth case. So there are different applications, and we have hardware for covering all cases. I think now we have a poll. Maybe we can recap you because probably some of you are not in a good stage now. So we wanna have your answer and your experience in the market. So which solution are you mainly interested in? So you have application where you have a non-IS signal interfacing, or non-IS signal interface with isolators, IS signal interface with isolators, IS signal interface with the isolator termination board, all. So just to have an idea of what you have. Thank you for answering. We take just 1 minute of this time for answering to this question. I remind you that you can make a live question to us on the Q&A button. You can do it anytime. Massimo is here, can answer. No question, Massimo, today.
No, today no question.
Okay, thank you for answering, and we can just share the results. So we see that most of you use all applications. We see that this application as an experience, the application is various, and you cannot have just one solution. So, and GMI, we have a complete solution for that. Okay, thank you for answering. Then we go to the application for PLC and DCS. Massimo, is it your turn?
Okay, Andrea. This solution, seen so far, have been designed to meet all possible field conditions, from the implementation of HART in an existing system or to the insertion of the HART system in a new installation where barriers, isolators are foreseen on board the termination unit. GMI's HART system is very flexible and adapted to all field needs. A further proof of this is also the existence of a special HART termination board that convert the 420 milliamp signal into a 5-volt signal. Well, but we can see, let's now analyze how they are multiplexers.
Yeah, Massimo, let me just give you briefly information about this. So we said old installation, new installation, because of course there are applications where you have everything set, you just need to collect the HART signal, and that is the first case. The second one, where you have probably you are creating a new system where you need the N.I.S, you have the PLC and so on, as isolator, you have the PLC and so on. In this case, you can realize solution determination board where there is we say a parallel connection. Then in the first case is a serial connection for the HART communication. Please go, Massimo.
Thank you, Andrea. Well, let's now analyze how the HART multiplexer system was tested with different PLC. The first solution tested is that which provides for the connection of the field sensor directly to the PLC through a termination board, model TBE D5001 HRT004, on which the HART modem is mounted. The PLC with its analog card insert an impedance of 286 ohms into the loop. This impedance is already compatible with the functionality of HART system. Therefore, the termination board used does not need to add impedance to the loop. Furthermore, the termination board does not interfere at all on the 420 milliamp signal. The second solution foresees the integration of the GMI HART system into application where intrinsic safety is involved. In this case, the HART multiplexer, through a special termination board model TBE D5001 HRT003, equipped with special connectors, connects to the system termination boards where the intrinsically safe barriers are housed for the management of sensor positioned in the hazardous area. In addition, connection of the HART system is allowed to 8 or 16 position termination board for managing up to 32 channels per termination board. A third solution has been tested, very similar to the previous one, but in this case we are going to manage applications that are not intrinsically safe. But afterward, the isolation of the field signal is provided through isolators. As we can see from the slide, the listed mode relating to the device that must now perform the isolation of the field sensor towards the PLC system, of course, change. But the system termination board models and the models for HART integration remain the same of the previous type of application. Now, let's see specifically the type of connection to be made in the different solution proposed. Let's start with the solution that uses barriers or isolator mounted on the rail. In this case, we will use the model TBED 5001 HRT004 terminal block HART termination board. The aforementioned termination board is inserted in series with the 420 milliamp loop and is the ideal solution for implementing HART in existing loops. The wiring foresees that each field sensor is connected to the barrier or isolator. The outputs of the barriers or isolators go to the input terminals of the HART termination board, which passes the 420 milliamp signal that is read by the PLC. Each connection is performed through wires. The solution that involves the use of system termination boards allow us to save considerably in terms of cabling. In fact, by inserting into the system termination board loop towards the PLC system, we will have the great advantages of being able to use a special cable that allow us to considerably reduce the connection to be made. With this type of connection, we will use a special termination board for the HART system, which in turn connects with the system termination board through flat cables that can manage up to 64 channels per board. Well, Andrea,
let me give you one more details on this, because if you look at the here the termination boards that are, say, host the isolators, can be IS and non-IS. Those can be for single dual channels, so you can have a multiple connection for the system. So you can reduce the, or in case of dual channel, to reduce the impact on your cabinet for sure.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We can go now. We have last two parts are very short, and then we go to the Q and R. So we have another presentation dedicated for the question maybe you made during your registration. So market comparison, we see that what is the main advantage? The main advantage is that the unit itself is save a lot of hardware, because we repeat once again, one multiplexer per 256 channel, while in the market the solution is per 32 channels. So every 32 channel you use in the HART multiplexer. So you divide by 8 the cost for the hardware, which is giving a high impact on the application. So that is the main advantage. And also the thing that you are having a seal tree, which is non-interfering with the safety loop. So that is also very, very important. Regarding the software, so of course you can use any software, but not all of them are compatible with our system. Let's say that the Pacto, which is a freeware, you can download, you can use it, is fully compatible. There are other software that are compatible, like solution from Anderson Dowser, Yokogawa, ABB, Emerson. Those are compatible completely. So you can use. For other software, you have to ask for, let's say, our advice in case you want to use it. Please contact us in this case. So now we have this indeed that we want to use. We want to know what you are still using, or what you're going to use it for your HART application. So if I'm pretty sure you already experienced with some of that, and probably Pactual is quite required. AMS also, FieldMate is required. Okay, thank you for answering. Takes another time, then we go directly to the the other presentation.
Andrea, we have a question from our attendee.
Yeah.
Regarding the price, I think. What about price and how does it compare to paper and foods of MTL?
Wow. Of course, it's not the matter of today. It's not. You cannot answer live this question. Maybe you can send us a requirement. We will offer to you, of course. What we can say? One can manage 256 channels. Others, you are asking, can manage only 32 channels. So you divide by 8 the cost for the hardware. So for sure it's competitive. But please contact us. We'll offer through our offices the most competitive price. Okay, thank you for answering. I see that few of you use a FieldMate, Yokogawa. You can see Emerson, the Pactual, and others. Others, and not we did not mention all, but for sure there are others. Okay, thank you. Now we can online information. Thank you. Let me swap to the last one, the last presentation. Okay. You have other question to answer, Massimo?
Yes, we have another question. Use of HART Multiplexer in partial stroke testing of ESD valves. But I think it's better to answer this question with an email to explain better the specification of
this is very specific. Let's say that is not interfering on any, let's say, functional loop, the HART communication is in parallel, is really independent, is not affected and not affecting the signal loops in this case. But probably is a very specific question we can answer later on by email. Please send us an email about this. No further question, Massimo?
Another question is for the compatibility with the Schneider FDTA. But I think that at this moment with the Schneider FDTA, we don't have the compatibility, but only because we have not tested this kind of system.
Asset management. Yeah. It's something that we, as partner of Schneider, something is in the plan, but not yet done. So for sure it will be done. Okay, thank you. So we go to the question and answer. Maybe are also interesting for our people, and probably we go for the first one, Massimo.
Yes, the first one is: do all isolators support HART protocol transmissions?
Some isolators filter the HART protocol. So if I use an isolator, be sure that this is HART compatible. Otherwise, the isolator itself, as long as it isolates the signal, the HART will be completely cut off. In this case, you have to be sure that it is HART compatible and HART transparent. Otherwise, you are having some trouble. Okay, so the next question is the HART protocol supported by 2-wire transmitter also for the 3-4-wire transmitters? This is a good question, and I think because there are always, let's say,
yes,
question about this.
Yeah, we can say that the HART signal works with all types of sensors, 2 passive wire or 3-4 wires powered by external sources. And GMI has developed solutions that all of the HART signal pass through for both passive two-wire transmitter and for free four-wire active transmitters. And also possible this solution both for intrinsically safe devices or non-intrinsically safe device with different solution proposed from GMI. For example, the 6070 SK for transmitter, field transmitter, 3-wire or 4-wire.
So in all cases, be sure that what kind of transmitter you are having, because the isolator could not be compatible on with the HART protocol.
Yes,
so
there is another solution also when we have the devices that perform the duplication of signal for 20 milliamp signal. GMI has developed a device that gives the possibility to have HART signal on both output of the duplicator.
Yes, in this case, sometimes only the one loop output loop is HART compatible with the HART superimposed. Otherwise, the second one is without. So this is also a question. You want to send the same HART signal to two systems?
Yes.
Be sure that the isolator, the duplicator you're using is with both output HART.
Yes, we have the possibility to have the HART communication on two different systems.
Fine, Massimo, good. So,
okay, other question. Here, how many multiplexer do I need? I think is referred to the comparison with the other.
Yeah, that is explaining in one table what we have said. And so you see that in the market, every 32 channel, you need one multiplexer. It can be one master but plus one slave for 64, one master plus 7 slave for 128, and so on. GMI, the need of the hardware for GMI is only one. So one multiplexer 256. So in terms of hardware, there is a big advantages. Of course, the question is, and people ask me a lot, what is the refresh time in this case? That is another good point. So the refresh time is always the same because HART is a slow process. So it's we need, of course, increase or keep in mind that more hardware, more fast will be your refresh. Otherwise, say also the number of the reduced number of hardware is also getting say your refresh time lower. Massimo, typical solution examples. We have other solution examples to refresh what you can do with this HART multiplexer.
Yes, from the slide we can see some example of application where the HART multiplexer is involved. Direct interface of 64 signals coming from the field, managed by 2 termination boards, connecting in daisy chain to each other with a single HART modem for channel scanning. The 2 termination boards are connected to each other through a special pen pole flat cable, and this solution can be explained up to the achievement of the direct management of 256 channels by a single HART modem, increasing the termination boards connected to each other in a daisy chain. And the system can be extended by inserting isolators or intrinsically safe barriers mounted on the
Sorry, this is the problem for the line. Try to recover Massimo. Massimo, we don't hear you.
Change the loop.
We miss you. We miss you something. Massimo, can you repeat once again what is this slide referred to?
The last slide. Okay. The system cable can be extended by inserting isolator or intrinsically safe barriers mounted on DIN rail or on termination board in the loop, which then connect directly to the safety system through a dedicated system cable. The slide show, let's see how the insertion of barrier isolators and termination board change the loop. This is how the GMI HART Multiplexer can work.
Okay. So how
fast is
HART is your part again, Massimo? So we have say we mentioned that it's not fast. Massimo, can you explain a little bit about this? Massimo, you are having problem with the network.
Okay, sorry, but I have some line problem.
We cannot solve. You can solve hard problems, but not a network problems. Please go ahead with this slide, Massimo.
Okay. Okay, this is my turn. Yes. The R signal itself is slow in data transfer. In fact, typically the speed is 1.2 kilobits per second, but the large number of channels that a multiplexer manages brings the loop refresh refresh rate to about 500 milliseconds per channel. This is how HART speed works typically in the HART loop.
So it's not fast protocol. So keep in mind, but it is just for monitoring, just for not for controlling. Keep in mind because the control is another thing. Control is not say affected again. So it's just for monitoring purpose. Compatibility with different field device is definitely compatible because we support up to HART7 protocol version, so we can control and we can read data from valves, transmitters, temperature sensors, pressures, gas, lever transmitter, any kind of sensors can be acquired because we support HART7, up to HART7. Okay, we finish. We don't see any further question. Thank you. Yeah, we have no question. Okay. We remind you all the other webinars. So we have live webinars on our website. You can register. They will be promoted through LinkedIn. We can have also some dedicated webinars if you want on demand. We have different topics we can discuss over dedicated webinars also for your company. We remind you that this has been recorded and also the other recorded webinars are on our YouTube channel. You may find easily. And the last but not least is how did we do? Thank you for answering. If it was on your expectation, not in line with the expectations, you can answer as you prefer. Don't worry, we'll be anonymous. We don't let's say be afraid about your. It's also for say for targeting better what we are doing. Okay, thank you. We can finish this now. Still, okay. Thank you very much for answering. I don't share it, but this was excellent and good and positive. Thank you. And we remind you our name, emails, and our face. So if you want to write us, specifically, there was another question that we did not answer. Please, I remind you that attendee to write us and we'll provide you a proper answer. Thank you very much. Thank you, Massimo.
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you to all our attendees for the participation in this webinar. And
we'll see you next time for another topic. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.